the first person I'm going to ask to speak is the father of the bride, Brian. Round of applause for Brian.
It's the clapping that makes it worse. It's all the clapping that makes me feel worse. Right, now I've got all your attention. Right, we'll start from here. Right, for all of you that I've never met before, I'm Brian, Briony's dad, as the speaker's just announced. I'm not one for speaking in public, so you'll just have to bear with me. Right, I would like to welcome you all to this wonderful venue on behalf of Briony and Chris, Marianne and myself and Chris's parents, Barry and Rose. Would sincerely like to thank you all for coming today, as I know some guests have travelled far and wide to be here, and that is much appreciated, so thank you for that. I would like to thank all the people who have been involved in the planning and preparation to make this day so special, and everybody who was involved in the hen and stag do's. What happened in Liverpool apparently stays in Liverpool. So if we can have a bit of a round of applause for all those people, you know who you are. So I'll just like to tell you a little bit about Briony. We'll just go back in time a little bit. Right, so on the 8th of September 1991, Marianne gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Briony. Our lives changed forever. Having left the maternity hospital with baby Briony on board, that was the start of an amazing journey. And I knew one day in the future this would be upon me to give my precious daughter away. Briony, like any other child, went through the usual phases of dance classes, the love of music. She was into steps, the Spice Girls, rollerblading. She had a scooter thing that she used to fly all over on, didn't you?
Yeah.
Then into the typical teenage years of makeup and fashion and everything that came with that. Briony's achieved so much in such a short space of time, and me and Marianne are so very proud of her. Briony has always been a kind, caring and beautiful daughter. Briony and Chris have been together for some years now, and Chris has become one of the family. And now that they are Mr. and Mrs. Jackson, this is an ideal opportunity for myself and Marianne to welcome Chris and his family into ours.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to finish off by saying, in life we're here for a good time, not a long time, so make every day count, and I would like to offer Briony and Chris all my love and best wishes for the future, as you both deserve the best in life. So I'd like you all to raise a glass and let's make a toast to Briony and Chris.
Briony and Chris.
Cheers, Brian.
Thanks, Dad.
Round of applause for Brian.
And enjoy the rest of the evening. That's me then. That's me done.
Not that bad.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. You can enjoy yourself now.
Not that bad.
Yeah,
You can relax now.
You've done it.
You did it. Well done, Dad.
Easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I now introduce your bridegroom, the handsome Chris, to say a few words. Chris.
I'm so pleased this is not on video. Anyway, thank you, Brian, for those kind words. A lot of this you might recognise from the internet websites, but I'm trying to add my own to this. First of all, on behalf of my wife and I, so I want to get that out there first. I would like to thank everyone for coming today. We know that many of you have travelled a long way, so it means a great deal for you to be here to celebrate our special day. So thank you for coming. That means a lot for us. Thank you. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all the people who've contributed to making this day possible. The generosity that's been shown towards us has been amazing, and we are incredibly grateful. I'd especially like to thank my mum and my dad. It's probably the only time, this is actually not on the script, it's probably the only time I'll get in my life to thank you for what you've done for me. And I appreciate it more than you will ever know. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Marianne and Brian, as well as both sets of grandparents. A special mention too for my ridiculously talented cousin Claire for making the cake absolutely amazing. Thank you. And for Ben for providing the unbelievable car.
Sorry.
And he is just there. He's there. I'm sure everyone here would also agree that our bridesmaids look absolutely stunning. So basically, just thanks for being here. Thank you. I'm also aware this could be slightly premature, as I know his speech is still to come. But I'd also like to thank my brother Will for excelling at his best man duties, but most importantly, uttering these words to me after he'd met Briony for the first time. Jesus, bro, she's much better than your usual type. I'm not entirely sure what you meant by this, but it was those kind words that made me think I should hold on to this one. So thanks, Will. True story. So as is customary in a groom speech, I thought I should briefly explain for those who don't know how me and Briony first met.
Stealing my stuff here.
So, in the present day, July the 21st, 2018, Brian, as you're all aware, works for a large corporate law firm in Leeds. Luckily for me, her lifestyle around the time we met was a little different. So rewind to the night of Saturday the 23rd of April 2011. Approximately 11:30 p.m, Vodka Revolution, Old Town Hall. Classy establishment, classy, very classy. So on that fateful night, Easter bank holiday, I happened to be wearing a particularly fetching set of pink fluffy bunny ears. Thought they were nice. Standard. I'll admit this pulling technique had never worked in previous years, but you never know, do you? So, Briony removed them from my head and a conversation of sorts ensued. However, within a few blaring minutes, a friend, or possibly a sister,
She's outside.
she's gone, informed it was half-price fish balls down the road, and therefore it was time to move on. It was at this juncture I decided to go for it. A little kiss, phone number maybe. Kiss attempt was a fail. Standard, as you said earlier. However, I did come away with a number. It was only at a later date she informed me how close I actually came to getting the number of her favourite taxi firm. Thankfully for us, she had a moment of clarity and did the right thing. A couple of months later, she'd moved herself in. And the rest is history, as they say. But on a more traditional, maybe emotional note, I would like to say, however cliched, that I do genuinely feel like the luckiest man alive, knowing that in Briony I have just married my best friend and my soulmate. You are beautiful outside and in, and I would not swap you for anyone or anything. I mean that.
Oh.
That chance meeting 7 years ago changed my life in ways I never thought were possible. So on that note, if you'd all join me in raising a glass to my bride, Briony. Next.
Thank you, Chris. Great speech. Well done, mate.
Very good.
Can I now introduce Chris's dad, Barry, to say a few words?
Thank you very much.
Applause, Barry, please.
Well, we wrote these speeches totally independently, and he's got half of mine there, but there we go. We must think alike. But I was just going to say, the wedding is actually on, it's over, it's done. I was starting to think I'd be 50 by the time it's sort of... yeah. You'll be pleased to know.
We'll give him that.
You'll be pleased to know, those of you who know me, this is a shortened version. And certainly as Chris has sort of gone over some of the things I was going to say, it's even a shorter version. So you'll be pleased to... I've done it in the computer of my time, which is a pencil. Some of you here might not have heard of pencils. What can I say? Briony. I first heard of Briony, this Briony, about 7 years ago. And I said to Will, what's this Briony like? Our friends Jed and John over there, we were on an educational visit to Tenerife for the week.
Was it 8:30s, Dad, or...
8:30.
No, 80 to 30. He tends to have, or when he lived at Barrow, sort of barbecues when I wasn't there. I don't know why he did that, but he did. And Will was happened to be there, and I remember when I got back, and I said, well, what's this Briony like? This Briony? That's you, Briony. What's this Briony like then? And he said something like, Dad, if you speak to her for about 10 minutes, as if you've known her all your life, she's open, she's modest, she's friendly, she's upbeat. And he was exactly right. And all that is true. Delighted to have you as a daughter-in-law, but I was going to say, and I'll just go on a little bit about one of her flaws, which is clearly the perception. Because, as Chris had mentioned, they met in Lowgate, or if you're from Hull, in Lurgate. In Lurgate in Hull, at the Revolution Bar. He was wearing the fetching bunny ears. I try it in the Red Lion on a Friday. But I tend to get beaten by the large bloke in the corner. So if you are unattached, get to the nearest pub, get your big bunny ears out.
Works.
And it works, there you go. But I mean, that bit I was going to say, but clearly she should have gone at Specsavers on that one. But delighted to have you as a daughter-in-law. I think you're wonderful. I don't know how he found you, but there we go. I'm blaming Daz for that. Right? But anyway, Chris, where do I start with Chris? I've only got about that much on Chris in my pencil. This is a very much sort of shortened version. Where do I start? The 2 or 3 round the world trips, true. The 12 or 13 lost front door keys, true. It could be 15. The 2 or 3 late night black eyes, true. We came back one night, Jed and I and John had been to, I think, York or somewhere. Rose was in somewhere like Peru or whatever. And he came up the stairs about 2:30 and his left eye was about there. I know we took
Fell
him.
over.
He said he fell over, but he fell over a month before and the month before that. I believed him, but there you go. So, you know, what can I say about him? But the best thing I think is funny he hasn't stolen this bit. When he went to the comprehensive school at 11, I was teaching there. And I remember saying to him, very reluctantly, Chris, when you come there, you know, you're going to have to refer to me as Sir. He went, as if to say, I don't think so. But anyway, if anyone was in the first class, you might have been in that class, Ollie, at the same time. We're in a basketball lesson, and we'd done all these little skills, and at the end you're supposed to have a bit of a game, and I didn't know half the kids, so I sort of said, well, you go there, you go there, you go there. All of a sudden, this voice came out of the team. Him. Dad, you don't want to put him with him, you're asking for trouble. That is true. Now, where he got that sort of sense of whatever, it's probably from me. I don't know, I'm sorry about that, Chris, but maybe you chip off the old block. The last thing I'm going to say, and again I say this is a digest of a digest, if there is, or if there were to be a thing, and I hate theories, those of you know me, educational theories, romantic theories, telepathic theories, I don't even know what I'm thinking, never mind anybody else. If there were to be a thing as soulmates, it is these two, believe me.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you, Barry. Another great speech. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Can I now introduce the final speaker, your best man, Will?
Hey! Only me and Chris know what it's like to have to come after Dad on such momentous moments. But thanks for that, Dad. You've given me a bit of big shoes to fill, as normal, but I'm going to give it my best job. I'm going to dedicate this speech to everybody out there who has been affected by Chris. Take that as you will. But I'd like to start by saying thank you to everybody who's come today. As Chris's brother, I got him for free. But I hear that he's been charging you lot 20 quid, so
I'm sorry about that.
Gavin loves it.
The
You
funny,
wrote this script.
the funny thing was, actually, a few months ago, I saw his invitation list with I looked closely. There's a few names crossed out. I looked closely, and next to each of these names was the date and the amount to the penny that each of these people owed money to Chris. Now, the bizarre thing was, the maximum amount was £4.50, dating back to 1998. Chris,
Poetic life.
Chris, you ain't getting that money back. No, that's a joke, but the rest of the stories are true. But speaking of 1998, those of you that did know him at that time will have been aware of his infamous curtains hairstyle. Does anybody remember his curtains? Yeah. Now, I can't really talk because as a kid I tried to imitate Chris, but his curtains defied gravity. They were absolutely amazing. Now, in fact, I also tried to imitate Chris with his love of Manchester United. But you'll find that... but Chris wasn't very happy about my love for Man U as well, because my favourite colour was blue and his was red. So he tried to make me support Everton. Yeah. It's true story. Now you'll be happy to know that I wasn't bullied by Chris and I didn't support Everton. But once I will tell you that I was bullied into bidding on one of his own items on eBay, even though I lived in the same house as him. Now, eBay, they're pretty clever, but Chris thinks he's cleverer than a multi-billion-dollar industry. So it was by no surprise that Chris wasn't happy with the price. I bidded to inflate them artificially, and we both got banned off the website. So thanks for that. So Chris has been an interesting role model. I tried to think about what it's like having Chris as a brother, and I thought it's like having a cross between George Best and the Cray twins. That's the best I can do.
About the footballing talent.
Yeah. Now, I really ought to take this occasion to say thank you to our parents, Rose and Barry. So, a round of applause for Rose and Barry. And a special thank you from me for not giving up after having Chris, because I know he was out for. I think most people would have given up after having him, and I wouldn't be stood here right now. It's amazing. People often say how young-looking my mum and dad look, but bearing in mind the stress, Chris, that you've given them, it is quite unbelievable.
Cosmetic surgery.
In his 20s, can anyone remember Chris's 20s? Yeah. Chris was often found frequenting very classy joints like the Red Lion of Barton, the George, and don't forget the Blue Bell. And he was well known at all of these bars, as I found out when I turned 18 and started getting mistaken for him by the angry locals and boyfriends.
Sorry, bro.
On a rare occasion, in fact, I actually got back from the pub after Chris and found him on the floor, asleep, in the fridge, covered in pork pie. That's a great memory of Chris. But jokes aside, we all know that Chris really is a caring and passionate man, and we know that by the fact of how much he loves his cat. Don't we? Yeah. Yeah. Behind the bravado, Chris regularly reminds us that in a fire or an emergency, he would save the cat's life before his family. So, Briony, good luck. Let's talk about Briony for a minute. Briony, what can we say? We really ought to take a minute and just appreciate what Chris has achieved today. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Familiar thing to this.
If you were to ask Chris what his ambition is in life, he will tell you it is to become a household husband. Which is probably why Briony, the only qualified solicitor he's ever gone out with, is the only girlfriend who is allowed, or was allowed, to boil the kettle more than twice a day because it would increase the electricity bill. Now, if that isn't love, what is? I don't know. Briony, you're an amazing person. If anybody can put up with Chris stripping naked and running around the street every time Man United score, then you have got my vote of approval. So well done.
Anymore, so it's all right.
Exactly. They don't win much now. In fact, a little story. I'll never forget a time early in the relationship. Briony told me a story about a time that you'd gone on a date with each other, and for some reason, Briony decided to dare Chris to pour a glass of water on her head. I think we can all guess how it ended. Chris is the only person that would have actually done it. And he did. Now, but Briony, you deserve a medal, and you're the only person that I've seen Chris respect so consistently. So well done. I know he adores you, and coming just one place below Sky the Cat on his life-saving list must mean that this is true love.
And one above Sky TV.
Okay. You are a fantastic couple, and I honestly wish you all the best in the future. It's been an absolute honour to be, Chris, your best man today and stand up and share some stories. I wish you all both the happiness in the world. So, can we all raise our glasses and share a toast?
Well done.
For the happy couple!
Great speech, bro. Great speech.
Cheers.
Well done.